Hi there, welcome back. So this week we've got another haul video. I believe there's about 5 figures that we're going to unbox today. So yeah, let's get to it. All right, so our first figure is from King of Glory, my one and only Luna. It's a 1/7 scale, complete painted figure. The box is pretty generic. It's by Myethos. So I'm gonna go ahead and open her up and get her together, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so we are back. I've got my lovely lady here. She's all put together. So to reiterate, this is from King of Glory, my one and only Luna, 1/7 scale complete figure. Now, I believe King of Glory is a gacha game. I could be wrong, but I think she is stunning. The base, I think it's simplistic, but it works. It's not too busy, and I like how the tapestry is kind of flowing, and there's some movement there, and the paint job has some metallic sheen to it, to the reds, to make it a bit richer in color, which is really nice. I love the gold decals. One of the things that drew me to this figure was the amount of red. Red is my favorite color, so when I saw this, I decided to pick her up, and then I also like my Myethos figures. Hence, here she is. She is sitting on a stool that actually it attaches to her magnetically, which is cool. And there's the little lantern additions. This piece here, I might need to apply some heat to it to get it to sit properly. It's supposed to lie a little bit straighter than that, but that's not a major thing. I think her sculpt is fantastic. I really love her face. I love all the detailing in her clothing. There's like a transparent pink area here for some of her undergarment that's under the red robe. She's got hair decals here that are like felt, and they're little pom-poms, which is really nice. I think all the detailing is really well done as well. All in all, I love this figure. The paint is great, sculpt is great, and I don't have a problem with the base. Myethos figures like this tend to have larger bases, but I don't have a big problem with that. I do have limited space for my figures, but she was worth every penny. I don't care. So my overall comments on this figure are that she is fantastic. Myethos really knows how to do figures, in my opinion. So if you are interested in her, definitely pick her up. Okay, so our next figure is a pop-up parade from Steins Kurisu Makise. So we're gonna go ahead and get her opened up and put together. It's just a generic pop-up parade box, so nothing special there. So we'll be right back. So we have the figure put together here so you can see her a little bit up close. So again, this is a pop-up parade, Steins Kurisu Makise. As far as the base goes, it's a generic pop-up parade base, so nothing special. The sculpt of the figure is fine. I don't have any issues with it. I think they did a good job doing a lot of the details on her, especially her coat, how it's kind of flared out and shows some movement. I like that. Same with her hair sculpt. The only 2 issues I have with this figure are the size and some of the hairlines. There's 3 big hairlines, and it wouldn't bother me as much, and really it's not too big of a deal actually, but it's just the way I'm seeing it. You'd have to look at her from top down, but there are some seam lines that I feel like they could have done a better job at fixing. But other than these 2 things, she's decent for what you pay for a pop-up parade. And I like how they made her shoes glossy, which adds some texturing to her. She's got some shading as well on her coat and in her hair. So again, my overall thoughts on this figure are that I'm a little bit disappointed in the size, even for a pop-up parade, but I'm still glad to have her. I think that the scale versions of her are quite expensive. So if you're not wanting to spend over $100 on a figure of her, I think that the pop-up parade works just fine in your collection or any collection, depending on how much you like Steins Gate, I guess. I like it enough to warrant them having in my collection again, but I didn't want to pay for the scale of her, which comes, I think there's one from Good Smile that has a bunch of computers behind her and things like that. So I didn't pick that up, but I got her instead. And I have another Steins Gate figure as well, so you can take a look at both of them as a set. I'm still happy to have her in my collection, so in she goes, but these are just two small things I'm pointing out, the hairlines and the size. Our third figure is a special one, and one that I'm very excited about. It's the GEM series from Mega House, Shinya Kogami 10th Anniversary Edition from Psycho Pass. So we're gonna go ahead and get them open. Okay, so we have Kogami put together. I think this figure is great. The base, although it's nothing special, it has some decals on it. Another thing I like about the base is that it's relative to his size and it's quite small, so he will definitely be able to fit on my shelves. I love the hair sculpt. I like the face and his expression. His pose is fine. It's somewhat dynamic. I like how there's lots of movement to his clothing and there's lots of nice shading. His shoes are glossy and they give you changeable arms and hands, so you can have him holding his gun or you can have him holding his cigarette. I think overall the paint job is really well done. Everything looks clean to me anyways. I just think this is a great figure and I'm happy that they released this actually, because before I started looking for figures for him, this one happened to come out, so I picked him up and I'm happy to have a figure of him from the show in my collection as well. I'm not sure if they make other figures for this series, but that's something I'll have to look into, because if they do, I'd love to give him a buddy. But for now, I'm very happy with this figure, and honestly, I don't have a lot of negative things to say. Actually, I don't really have anything negative to say about him. I think he's great. Alright, so we have our fourth figure. This is Dobby from My Hero Academia, 1/8 scale pre-painted figure by Artifacts J, which is also by Kotobukiya. So I'm going to go ahead, open him up, and we'll be right back. This is our fourth figure, and I think he looks phenomenal. I'm really happy with him. His base is unique enough. It gives some context to the pose and the figure itself. I think the paint job is really well done. I like how they made the sculpt. Even though his pose isn't overly dynamic, they really went all out to at least make the clothing have lots of movement to it. There's lots of folds and creasings in there. It just looks really nice. and it completes the figure, I think. The sculpting for the flame effects is also really nice, and so is the paint job for it. I like how they made it like a deep translucent blue for his flames. I love the face on him. I think they did a really good job getting the face correct. And I like how he's almost not a sneer, but just, you know, he's just being himself, which is kind of snarky a little bit. I like how they captured that, at least to me anyways. And honestly, I have nothing bad to say about this figure except, and this is not with this figure particularly, it's with a lot of the My Hero Academia line for Kotobukiya's Artifacts J. Putting these effects onto the figure is an uphill battle. I have another figure as well, and it took me forever to get the flame effect on, and then it eventually just fell off. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen with this one, but it definitely takes a bit of finagling to get the flame effect onto the figure. But other than that, my overall comments for this piece is that it's stunning. I think they did a really good job on all the detailing as well. And his hair sculpt is really nice, and it's so spiky. It actually hurts if you like touch it in the wrong place. But I'm happy to have him in my collection. I love Dabi. I think he's such an interesting character. So I'm going to add him to my little My Hero Academia shelf. And yeah, I'm very impressed with the quality of this figure. Okay, so this is our fifth and final figure for this haul video. This is Artifacts J again from Kotobukiya. Vash the Stampede Trigun Stampede version, 1/8 scale pre-painted figure. So here he is in his box. We're gonna go ahead and get him open, and we'll be right back. Alright, so we have our fifth and final figure here. Just to reiterate, this is Artifacts J from Kotobukiya. Trigun Stampede Vash 1/8 scale. I'm going to admit here and now, I have no idea what Trigun is. I have never seen it or read anything about it. I'm sorry to disappoint fans of Trigun. So this figure is essentially an original character for me. Again, I was drawn to this figure because I like the color red, but also I thought it was a really dynamic pose. It's just a really interesting character design. So I decided to pick him up regardless of the fact that I know nothing about the show or the manga. The base is really interesting. It's got some extra detailing here. I have no idea what these things are, but it makes the base look very unique. The coloring of the base is fine as well. I'm assuming this is supposed to be sand. The sculpt of the figure is really well done. I love it. The detailing is so good on this figure. I love the paint job as well. The blue metallic for the robotic arm here is amazing. I love all the shading in his jacket, and the color of the red makes it pop. I love his face. The face is really well done. He looks like a really interesting guy. I'd love to get to know him. And he comes with glasses. They gave 2 sets of glasses. I'm presuming in case you break one, there's a backup. And he's got his gun holsters, and his whole outfit, his whole ensemble just looks clean and very nice. And his shoes are awesome as well. There's a lot of detailing there. So I am super happy with this figure. I was expecting good quality from Kotobukiya. Sometimes Kotobukiya can have duds, but this is definitely not a dud. And if you are a fan of this show, I highly recommend this figure. So yeah, my overall comments are that this figure is just stunning, and I'm going to be very happy staring at him every day. Alright, so if you stuck around till the end of this video, I humbly thank you. And I'd love to hear your comments on all of these, but I'm very happy with all these. And I'd like to know what you guys think of them, if you have them in your collection or if you're thinking about getting any of them. Let me know in the comments. And I'm glad you liked the video. If you did, feel free to subscribe and or like to show your support. Thank you very much.